Hey guys, welcome to the 11th episode of Stronger Through Humor. I'm Cody.
I'm Joe.
Um,
Well, in my screen, Tommy's on the left side, so it's like we're going counterclockwise. Yeah. It's like, and we got, and no one's there.
Yeah, you're on the right, or you're on the left for me, and then Cody's on the bottom.
Yeah, Cody's Cody's a bottom.
Bottom bunk. You and I are on the top bunk.
Yeah.
Are you on the bottom too, Cody?
I'm on the side.
The side.
It's all in a row.
That's not an option.
It is. On my screen, I'm on the left.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird. You gotta fix your screen.
Yeah.
I'm on the left, Joe's in the middle, Tommy's on the right, and then underneath that, it's a big screen of Joe.
Oh, you have it like on who's talking or whatever? You could set it up so it like splits the...
I know, but that's just how it's viewed right now.
Oh, well, that's weird.
I like how Tommy changed
So
places there.
See, you're at what is it, San Francisco? Am I getting that right? How's the weather out there?
Oh, it's a lot better in Winnipeg. It's so damn cold, like I was kind of already saying before we started recording here. But I mean, it's +5, but the barbell is so cold in my hands outside.
It's true. It's getting warmer though. It's getting warmer. I think what is that, on Saturday or Sunday? It was the coldest temperature recorded that date in like the last 50 years or something.
This past Saturday?
Yeah, one of those days. Yeah.
Damn it.
Insane. I didn't find it too.
I don't remember
cold.
being. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember being that cold.
But I do agree it was cold. It's more cold than hot.
Yeah. Bunch of dads out here talking about the weather.
Hey, man.
Bunch of fathers.
That's all what we strive to be.
There you go. Not what entire conversation. Just trying to loop it back. Didn't want to dig a hole too deep. But what was that, Cody? What were you saying?
Nothing at all. Whoa, shit! Now we're there.
Whoa, some active waves.
Super windy where you are.
I'm with Big Ed.
You must be back in Winnipeg now.
On the resort with Big Ed.
I wish I was hanging out with Big Ed.
Yeah. So, Cody, you're saying that you're a big 90-day fiance. So, can you walk us through what's happening?
I couldn't tell you, but you seem to know all about it.
What happened last episode? What were you saying before?
No idea what happened last episode.
What happened with Frank?
I have no idea who Frank is.
Frank the Tank and Big Ed.
Is this actually like, so is it the whole show is just these two people, or is it like different people every episode, or like
there's a bunch of different people. I think they stagger it to make more entertainment, obviously, but like make it more entertaining.
They follow a bunch of people like per episode, or is it like one couple or whatever per season?
Yeah, I feel like they zoom in on like 2 couples per episode, but I think there's like
There's a lot of couples.
5 or 6, yeah.
Shit.
What episode are you on, Joe?
I'm on day 74 of 90 Day Fiance.
It's super interesting. I can't imagine doing it. There's one woman that went to like Nigeria, and she's trying to marry a Nigerian prince, and he's like, well, in like a Nigerian house, like I make all the decisions and you have to go with it. Like that's just how like my culture is. And then she got really upset with that. And then they got into a huge fight, and I was like, yeah, well, what did you expect? You're going to like a foreign country where that has like their way of living.
That's how they did. That's how they're doing things for years and hundreds of years still.
Yeah, it's like, that's you should probably have found that out before you kind of went over there.
Whole different culture.
A whole different culture, yeah.
See, I was watching 90 Day Finance this whole time, so I'm not.
Oh, that's it.
I've been getting.
Where's Big Ed?
Just a little
Yeah.
different.
It's this 4'11" dude.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't get what everyone's raving about, man.
Not fine, Big Ed. This was-
Oh, what do we got there?
I'm just time traveling.
Is it time traveling, or are you traveling to just different places?
Is there a difference?
Kind of.
Is it a leaper? I'm a leaper.
You're not going back in time or forward in time.
Maybe I'm taking
Or
you
is
guys.
he? It could be, because I don't think an aurora borealis is happening right now.
Oh, there you go.
So, Cody, what would you say was your favorite conspiracy theory?
Flat Earth.
No,
I'm not a conspiracy guy.
You're just pandering to Tommy now.
I'm not a conspiracy guy like you.
You take that back. You don't have to be a conspiracy guy to know about conspiracies.
Well, I guess, do you guys hear about how supposedly there's actual UFOs now? And like the government, like in the States, they're saying how they have real footage.
There's always been UFOs. It's just unidentified flying objects.
No, but they were denying some of the footage, and supposedly now, like they've come out on record saying, yeah, like it's
Yeah.
true.
There's some footage out. There's footage out there. It's just things in the sky that they can't identify.
It's Russia.
Yeah. Or freaking what? Like the sun shining through the camera lens, and there's like a spot on the lens or something.
Oh, and then they're just freaking out.
Yeah.
They're trying to chase it.
Or it's UFOs. I don't know.
It's UFOs, man. You got visitors.
You believe in aliens?
They are UFOs. I do.
I mean, there's definitely other species out there. 100%. There's no way it's just our planet.
No,
that
like
has-
illegal aliens.
Cody's like, there's definitely illegal.
I've seen them in my parking lot.
They're all over the place. They're everywhere.
He's in a Zoom meeting right now.
I think that's why advanced workers weren't talking to you earlier.
Yeah, it's true.
So
Aliens.
Trying to be nice to them, and they're
Freak
just
out.
like, this guy.
they knew. You guys sip your water bottles at the same time a lot, eh?
It's a plan.
we're in sync.
You have like a timer, like a 30-second timer. You guys
Yeah.
sip.
You don't have the app? You're not on a water drinking challenge?
Yeah. The movement water champ.
Who could drink the most water in a week?
Yeah.
Is that week 4 of the Quaranteam games?
Just an absurd amount of water. You have to 12 liters of water per day.
If there's a tie at the end, that's a tiebreaker.
Oh my goodness. Just drowning people. Yeah. Do we want to talk about, I guess at this time, at the release of this episode, it would be when the winner's already announced
When
for the squat challenge
do you plan on announcing it?
today,
Okay. Yeah, it should be out.
This is going out tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Yeah, ideally.
Okay.
Ideally.
So we could
So
talk
yeah,
about-
we could talk about it a bit about it.
All right. So we had a person on a team, and no team has renamed their team, by the way. So this is really great.
You named them all, or what? You gave them all
I
names?
named them all Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4. And teams, there was one team that like kind of argued and like jabbed each other with it,
Oh,
and then it happened. Like
nothing happened. No one
Those-
fought.
no one fought. Or no one caved in. But yeah, so this person ended up doing almost 50% of their team's total activity with running and squats.
Oh.
And with their squat number alone, they beat 2 other teams.
What?
Yeah. So
It's a lot of squats.
a
So-
lot of squat. Yeah, she squatted over
Can we-
7,000 bodyweight squats.
7,000 in a week.
7,000 bodyweight squats in a week. a couple of those days she did 1,280. I think 3 of those days.
Shit.
Yeah, she's a damn animal.
And the total, what was the total again? 38,000 for the team or something like that?
Yeah, it was between 32 and 35. Let me check quick. Let me go into the cloud.
Because there was a specific team goal to be reached.
39,225
squats between teams of 6.
Between 6 people.
That's a lot of squats.
So that's about 65. What is expected? I mean, not expected. The goal for each team was for each member to do 6,500 squats in a week. About 930, we'll say, per day. And she did 1,280 for some of those days. And all while at the same time as squatting. She ran the second most on her team. Yeah.
Damn.
Second or third most. Yeah, her team's like done some pretty good, pretty even running. So yeah, they're in second for the run. And I think safe to say that her team won the squat challenge because she beat 2 of the other teams just by herself. So, but yeah, Melissa Perry.
There you go.
Yeah, she killed it. She ran almost 40K.
Jeez.
Yeah, so a lot of teams are on pace to complete the full 490, so that's good. So that I know it's keeping a lot more people active for sure. Like there's a lot of talk in the chats of like people weren't going to do it and then they just went out for the walk and they just walked the 3K. So I mean, it's better than doing nothing. And then people that were like sick, they're like, you know what, I felt really sick, but I still walked on the treadmill or did body weight squats or something like. So that's a big thing that people are noticing is that even during them not feeling the greatest or their days being inside, they're still able to, stay active and not absolutely go ballistic.
Switch backgrounds in their Zoom meetings.
Time traveling, Tommy.
Yeah, and I was shrunk down to a little ant or something.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Tommy, you have a question? So you raise your hand?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sweet. Overall, quarantine games going well?
Yeah.
A lot of chit chat.
A couple teams aren't took a little bit to get going.
Yeah.
I think they're now finding that stride and just updating a little bit more consistently. And it's going really good. A lot of team members are crushing it.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Do we want to announce what the next challenge is?
Yeah, so this week we got the plank. So the last one we had for the amount was square miles of water in Manitoba, which there's a lot of water in Manitoba. So there's 39 plus.
Yeah.
Or in change. And then this one on that same website, we went with it was just over 10,000 and change. And that was, I think, the children in foster care in Manitoba. So we just went with that guy. And
you're back home?
Nope.
Nope. Short visit.
Yeah. UFO. 10,000 something?
Yeah, it's 10,000 and change, just over 10,000 for planks. Okay. So that's for seconds of the plank. So it's about
not minutes.
4 minutes a day for each person. Could you imagine if it was minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, 4 minutes a day is not too bad.
Yeah, so
I think that's a little more better than the 600 something squats a day.
that's the thing. Like Melissa, and this is what I told. Like if you spread it out per day, there is probably about 80% of the people are working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know like people's home jobs are absolutely insane. Like you'll get flooded in paperwork, and I know there's times like where if I'm doing work at a desk, like I won't stand up for hours on end.
Yeah.
But I know like Melissa, she did her squats at her desk and did, I think, 80 squats an hour when she was squatting too much. And she was still able to attain it and do her walks and everything like that, right? So she did that.
It seems like these challenges are good, and where there's like goalposts that are pretty high that you have to strive for. And like technically anyone could do it if they like put in that time to do it. But then once again, that's still like that dedication, right? Like it's still a lot to do.
Mm-hmm. And organizing, like, and that's a big part of it too, is like, I think that challenge, that's where the challenge comes into it. Like this one's a lot less challenging in terms of you can do, majority of population can do 30-second planks. So that'll essentially be 4 sets of 30 seconds in the morning and the evening.
Yeah.
So it's going to be attainable for everybody, and everyone could have done the squats, but I think they said they maybe push it to the end of the day, and then doing like 150 squats at once, you're like, that was a lot.
And
right?
you don't have the rest of the day to do them.
And then you're like, I'm going to bed. Like,
I'm sure their legs are going to enjoy it this week. A bit of a break for the legs.
Yeah.
Everyone's
the run.
Everyone's just going to have massive thighs.
Yeah, everyone's going to be just crazy jacked legs.
Yeah. If we see a bunch of people with just huge disproportionate legs, it's because they did squats for a week straight.
The quarantine.
Yeah.
That got them. Hucked them in. But yeah, so that was so that was the first week one. It started out good. Like there was no real there was no hiccups or anything. There was one hiccup just with us using which app that we were going to use, but I mean every team was just on track with it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was good. But in this episode, we got top coach Dino.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
That's a nice transition.
Yeah. Segue, hey?
Anyways, we have a guest this episode.
Yeah. This episode we got
Yeah.
But just talking about like, I know what just reminded me of that was just him talking about like the community aspect of how important community was for like his career, and like why he got into it and why he's still successful as a businessman and as a trainer, is just being good to your clients that you have. And I think if you follow, and this is just me like kind of speaking, but like the saying that it's easier or it's more financially smart to keep a client than gain a new client. So, I mean, if you treat the people around you well, and you service them right, and you program accordingly and get them results, there's no reason for people to leave, right? As long as you're improving yourself and your own service. So I think he hammered that down a little bit this episode too.
Yeah, he brought that, and just I didn't know how much experience he had just being in the game, and just that experience and knowledge, and just from the bit that we had from him, it just seems like he's just overflowing with that knowledge, experience, and stuff like that. It's sweet.
Yeah, I know a big takeaway for me was just like just the amount of simplicity to like him attaining goals.
Yeah.
That I motivation wise and like anxiety can really take away. He's just like, I'm just gonna do it, and that's gonna be it. Like I'm gonna prep for this, and I'm gonna diet accordingly, and then this will happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of like, I'm sure he puts in a lot of work and stuff like that when it comes down to macros and when he's prepping and all that. But at the end of the day, he understands like, there's a goal, and it's as basic as there's a goal and I got to get to that. and he does. It seems like, right? So I
It's
think
also impressive of how much he's got going on, right?
Yeah.
Like all his clients, insane amount of clients, running the facility, running a supplement company. And so it's just like, it's definitely got, and then the whole bodybuilding federation as well, right? So definitely a busy guy. Got a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, he dived into a little bit to that supplement company that he has, the Bodies by Science, and One Family Fitness, the gym that he owns in Winnipeg, and what they're kind of doing now, and the kind of expansions that they had, some exciting stuff that kind of got on the back burner during COVID and everything, but that like them, I think like he's going at the right way with, I know like what we're trying to do is, open up better and with more things, with more additions, with more details, and instead of just opening up with like business as usual, because I know as like cliche it is that like every news outlet has been saying like life's never going to return back to normal, or this is the new normal type thing. But I know that can cause a lot of stress on people that, as life's changing, movement's going to change as well, but it's going to be for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. No going backwards.
Yeah.
Unless we hop on Tommy's Zoom call.
Painting the walls back again, moving the equipment, but I think like that's a big thing that I think a lot of people will lean on with like getting back to the normalcy or their new normal. With, I know a couple of my clients are saying that their jobs are changing, that their company is going to start transitioning to working from home even when this is all done. So there's a couple of clients that have to like, they're like, I don't have a desk, I don't have an office space at home. So I know those people are going to be like, as all that is changing around them, like the gym is still going to be the same in terms of the movements and like, or physical activity is still the same. The requirements that you need to be a human, like it's going to transition maybe from your day to day, or what you need to do, or in how active you need to be, maybe because you're more sedentary. But I mean, this could be a new epidemic in itself of now having a lot of desk jockeys. A lot more.
If everyone just gets a standing desk, they don't need a gym.
A standing desk
solves everything.
Yeah. Have you ever used a standing desk with a treadmill?
No, I want to. I would want to.
I've tried. Like I had my old treadmill and it had like a desk topper, so that you could like type on it and shit. And I did it. I just put like kind of a middle piece to like or an extension for a table,
like your makeshift table for the podcast in the squad rack.
Yeah, exactly. And it was terrible. I couldn't focus at all. I don't know. Maybe it's just like
I feel like having maybe like a casual bike would be better.
I think I wouldn't pedal.
That's true. You might just lose focus and not pedal, right?
Yeah. But that's the thing with walking. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't coordinated enough to think about walking and to think about doing work. It was definitely a task for me. Yeah.
All right. Let's
all right. Yeah. So we got Dino coming up.
Yeah, let's just call our conversation here, and we'll let you guys hear our little podcast or interview with Dino.
The man, the myth, the legend himself. For episode 11.
Hope you guys like it.
Enjoy.
Hold on.
There we go.
There
There he is. The man's here. How's it going, Dino?
Good. Yourself?
Good. Got a little cooler out today, but
yeah, no doubt.
Survive.
I like that you're in the gym as well. Setting.
I'm paying for internet here. I might as well use it.
Right? Makes sense.
Yeah. Stairmaster supersets. Yeah, so we were just kind of leading into an introduction, but do you want to kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess a lot of people think that I'm younger than I am. So I'm almost 40. So I've been doing this for, 16, 17 years probably.
Oh, wow.
I've been training since I was 15. So that's quite a while, 20 plus years. Yeah, I got into training just to gain weight for judo. So I grew up in Kenora, and we had a pretty solid judo team in Kenora. And my judo coach is who introduced me to training, but also introduced me to injury. So when I was 15, they put 225 on the bar and unracked it, and I subluxed my shoulder on the first attempt.
Ooh.
So kind of it taught me the importance of doing things properly and learning how to do things from people that know what they're doing. And it kind of, pushed me towards this direction. I didn't get into actually training people as a job until university. When I started university at U of M, a lot of the international students kind of saw me as someone who was healthy and ate well and exercised, and they started just hiring me. And I just trained people for cash at the Grotto. That just shows how old I am. But yeah, I was going to the Gritty Grotto, and that's kind of where I started, just doing it as my own little side gig to make money for university. And then I saw an ad for personal training for Shapes, actually. And this was 12 or 13 years ago. And I did an interview, and they hired me on the spot. And I actually thought at the time I was pretty underqualified. Now looking back, I was probably overqualified. They do hire, but that's kind of where I jumped in, is doing that as a full-time gig. I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. They didn't pay you if you weren't training anyone. So, I'd be at the gym for 12 hours, maybe train 3 of those hours. I think the first year I worked every day, and I made like 14 grand or something like that, like something just crazy. Second year I doubled that. Third year I was the highest earning trainer at the company. And I worked there until about 2015, when I left to help a friend open his own gym. And then after a year of that, I kind of decided it was my turn. So that's kind of a quick summary of my history. I just love doing it. I always kind of wanted to do a job where I got to help people. I actually wanted to be a cop for a long time. And in a few interviews, they actually told me I'd be better as like a counselor or somebody that helped people because I wasn't very good at taking orders myself. So they were kind of right, I guess. So I think I picked the right career, and I know I excel at it, and I enjoy doing it. And the biggest thing about being a trainer, and I'm sure you guys know this, is it's got to be something you live. And this is what we live. My wife and I are we're just healthy. We just enjoy, eating good food, staying active. We live in the country, so we're always outside. We like being athletes. We like pushing ourselves. It's just how we live, and it's very easy to teach that to people if it's something you do every day. If it's not something you do every day, then it's a lot harder to teach it. So.
Yeah, could you tell us a little bit more about One Family Fitness?
Yeah, for sure. So One Family Fitness was kind of just an idea that we wanted a community that could, accept everyone, but at the same time, it wasn't that like glitzy glam, like going to the club kind of feel. It wasn't catering just to one niche. Like there's powerlifting gyms, there's Olympic weightlifting gyms, CrossFit is huge, group fitness is huge. We just wanted a place where people could incorporate exercise at a reasonable 2 to 3 days a week, learn from people that know what they're doing, be around people who live it, and just feel safe and comfortable. I rented a space that's really bright. I keep it clean. It's just normal people, like just families, just people who want to be healthy, right? Nobody's really training for anything crazy. It's just everybody's welcome. Everybody feels good. Everybody talks to everyone. It's just a good community, right? So, and that's kind of what we wanted, was to build something that's really strong. It's more about the people than the place. I had to pick something that was very expensive. The real estate I'm in is very expensive. Most gyms choose something off the beaten path. I knew to be successful, I had to actually be in a community. So I'm in the heart of St. Vital. So we service this community, and most people live within walking distance. But yeah, the community has really taken a liking to us. We've got about 250 members. I know all their names, I know all their stories. Yeah, it's just it's a great place, and they've really supported us a lot through this. So we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, that's good.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, you talked a little bit about your passion for opening up the gym and that, and something that I think people may know you for is your natural bodybuilding as well, and what you've done for natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So could you just talk a little bit about that and what led to that?
So natural bodybuilding wasn't really a thing I even knew existed. I don't know how old you guys are, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and it was a lot of like Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, like the big jacked up juiced guys, watching Mr. Olympia, all this kind of stuff. So I learned pretty young that I could never do that, right? I didn't want to take drugs. I didn't want to be extreme. I didn't want to jump on the Olympia stage. So I never thought bodybuilding was actually a possibility. It wasn't until I met a couple guys at a gym 5 or 6 years ago, and they explained that natural bodybuilding existed, and I had never heard of it. I always thought it was a joke. Like, back in the day, there was these forums, bodybuilding forums, and they'd always like joke about natural bodybuilding being just like a pretend sport.
Yeah.
But these guys showed me, and I went to a show, and I saw it, and I really saw the passion for training, the health, but also how extreme these athletes would push themselves. The big difference between natural bodybuilding and enhanced bodybuilding is that you can't get big. Like, I've been training for 22 years. I weigh the same I did when I graduated high school. Like, you're not going to gain 50 pounds of muscle. Saying that, I walk around over 200 pounds at 5'9", so I'm a pretty solid guy. But the big difference is the conditioning. So the guys would get so lean, and it almost looked like impossible to achieve. So it just so happened that these guys convinced me to do a show. So at 30 years old, I did my first show, and I won it. And we just happened to be filming a documentary as well for TV.
Oh.
This was about 5 or 6 years ago. And yeah, I went on to do, I think I did about 12 shows in 6 years. Yeah, and it just meshed really well with my lifestyle. It wasn't really a big change. I just needed to, eat a little bit less. That's pretty much the secret. But just take my time and diet down. And I did really well. I think I've won 7 or 8 of my 10 shows, placed in the top 3. The other ones, like, the big advantage is I am older, so I have the decades of training. So I have the added mass, the muscularity, and the discipline, and I have, the financial ability to do the training, buy the food, like all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I really gravitated toward it. I enjoyed it, but I also realized that the sport itself is just in its infancy. So the shows weren't very big. The last one that I did in Winnipeg, there was like 7 athletes. So it just so happened that the promoter position became available the next year, and I asked if I could do that. And actually, when I asked, they actually told me that they were going to ask me anyways, just because they had seen how passionate I was about the sport. So I jumped on that. My first show, I think we had like 30 athletes, so we almost tripled it. Last year, we had over 50 athletes. So we're growing the sport, and we're growing it quickly. And I think that people are realizing that you can do this sport naturally, and you can push yourself at any age. Like, the best athletes are 40 plus, right? Like, if you're training your whole life and then you diet down, you're going to look amazing, right? So it's something that you can do naturally, and it's something you can do as a parent, right? So I did it at 30. I already had a kid, and I now have 3 kids, and we're still able to do these type of things. So if you have the discipline and the structure and the habits, it's a sport that is, I believe, safer than most, right? There's no impact. There's no risk of real serious injury. There's no drugs. So I think it's a great solution for getting people active. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why we do the prep camps, to teach people about it. That's why it's a very small part of the business here, but we do offer training for that here. Just because I believe it's a great sport, and I believe it's a good, healthy alternative to, doing pharmaceutical bodybuilding. The other thing that I like about it is it meshes well with powerlifting. And I got into powerlifting the same year I started bodybuilding. I did 3 powerlifting shows and 3 bodybuilding shows within 4 weeks. And I think I won all of them, or I placed top 2 in all of them. So there's sports that work really well, and I enjoy powerlifting as much as I enjoy bodybuilding. So yeah, it's just stuff I love to do, and I love to teach it. So
yeah, I could see definitely that natural bodybuilding complementing cutting down for a powerlifting meet and of the likes like that.
Yeah. I use the powerlifting to kind of maintain my strength through dieting, right? Because the longer you diet, your strength's gonna get hit. You're gonna feel weak. You're gonna feel sluggish. Doing those powerlifting movements, that I believe that's kind of like the trick to keeping some mass, keeping some strength, and then learning how to program through powerlifting. That translates well to like programming people for natural bodybuilding as well.
Yeah, especially mixing up a program when you're in a major deficit, a couple weeks out, having some compounds to actually maybe motivate you to train when you're so depleted too.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
did your kind of passion for natural bodybuilding lead into you starting your own supplement company?
My problem with supplements, like I don't know how well your audience follows me, but I've always been of the type that like, I don't like lying to people, and I don't like people that sell like garbage, and supplements are 99.9% garbage. And the most popular supplement companies are the ones that are selling you the things that you don't need. So I know that my supplement company isn't something that's going to grow to be huge. I'm not going to become a millionaire, but I enjoy the ability to sell something I believe in, that has a very small amount of products that are backed by enough evidence that I feel comfortable selling them to people, and saying that they're also produced in a plant that's drug-free, that's independently tested. So I know these things are safe for myself, for my athletes who will be tested. I've been urine tested many times for bodybuilding, and I know they do urine testing in powerlifting as well. I've never been tested, but that could happen as well. So my supplement company, it's always been something I want to do, and I'm the type of person that, you know, I want to do a million things, and I throw like 1,000 things at the wall, and I just kind of see what sticks. So people hear me say things like, I want to open a gym, like, and they're like, oh yeah, sure you do. And then like 10 years later, I open a gym, right? Or like, I want to do a supplement company. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the dream. And it's like, well, I started with one order, and like, you know, now I've got more, and I'm selling, like, we're open here today, 12 to 4, selling those products to people. So I do the things, and I maybe I don't do everything I say that I want to do, but I just do it, and I jump in and I try to do it. So Bodies by Science, which is my supplement company, is it's like a hobby, I guess. It's something that I enjoy doing. I feel comfortable selling these products, and yeah, I don't know. It's just something I wanted to do, and I did it. So
yeah, would that be one of probably the biggest changes during this time right now is you being able to still sell those supplements out of your gym?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think of it right away. Like, I guess a lot of us were blindsided, obviously, by this pandemic, and sometimes it takes some time for you to think about what you need to do. I'll be the first to admit that I was hit severely with like depression, anxiety. I wasn't eating, I wasn't exercising. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what was coming, and a lot of us were scared. And I'm going to admit I'm still scared. I don't know what's coming, because they could reopen gyms in 2 months and then close us again in another month, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at China to see what China's doing for their gyms, and they're all going bankrupt because they closed them again last week, right? Like, so we don't know what's going to happen, and because I have this supplement company, and because I sell other products here, because when I did start up my business, I did make sure that it was also a supplement store. So it's not just a fitness center. So I'm allowed to sell products. And what I'm doing is actually, I don't know if you can see behind me, but we're renovating the front counter so that in the next couple of weeks, I can actually open as a stocked store. And let people come in one at a time and sell them products. And I've got more things coming in that I've ordered, exercise equipment, things that I'm going to try to offer, because who knows how long actual fitness centers will be closed. It's tough because I talked to the health inspector yesterday that actually came by because they're checking up on all the gyms to make sure people aren't personal training, because it's still not allowed. And they're taking pictures through the windows, and they're taking pictures of our signs and stuff. But she mentioned that like they're giving everyone fines, right? So like she knows that gyms are training people, and she's trying to catch them so they can give them fines. So who knows how long this is going to last? She doesn't know how long it's going to last. So we need to find alternative forms of income. And I'm sure you guys are online training, maybe moving outside for outside training soon. But that isn't enough to offset rent. Like, again, I chose prime real estate, so I got to pay the price of prime real estate. And it's, you know, it's over 10 grand a month to operate this place. So I can't make that selling supplements, but I can offset a lot of that selling supplements. So that's kind of the plan. And again, if we don't open in for 2-3 months, at least I can sell supplements for 2 to 3 months, and then and see how that goes. So again, I didn't think of it right away. It took me a month to think of that idea. I just lucked out that where I'm sitting right now, there's a door that's on the plans that's not an emergency exit. So I can actually, I built a little window, right? So I had to get creative so people can come outside, order stuff, and then I just give it to them through the window instead of them coming into the building.
That's good.
So what kind of supplements do you guys have, Dino?
So my company itself is just whey protein, plain creatine monohydrate, vitamin D capsules, and a pre-workout that's just 5 ingredients, right? So, so very minimalistic, I guess, products. Again, I don't want to sell people things that are full of fillers. There's no proprietary blends. Everything that's listed on the ingredients is what's in there. It's tested. I don't sell other products, like other brands of items that I don't believe in. So I always get people coming in here wanting branched chain amino acids. And I tell them, those are in your whey protein, and it's cheaper to take your whey protein. So I could sell you the BCAAs and make a load of money, but I don't feel comfortable doing that, right? So if they were vegan or vegetarian, I'd say, yeah, go to Popeyes, buy some BCAAs and have that with your meal. Maybe that'll help. If you can't figure it out without supplements. But again, I don't want to sell people things like fat loss creams or, you know, testosterone boosters or, you know, waist training belts. Like I just,
we'll get into that in a bit. I guess just going forward, even though it's a little bit up in the air right now, as we kind of talked about, but what goals do you, for maybe your personal fitness as well as for your business, do you have for 2020? And how have those may have changed?
Yeah, 2020, 2020 is a crazy year. It's funny, we signed a lease for the neighboring unit. We put a hole through the wall. We built a fitness studio, put some mirrors up, put some turf in. The first payment for that second unit was actually March 15th. We closed March 17th, right?
That's rough.
Jeez.
We were supposed to open April 1st with yoga, kung fu, kids martial arts, posing classes for bodybuilding, seminars for powerlifting. Like we had a whole class roster supposed to start for April 1st. Obviously that's not going to happen. For this year, I don't think classes will be allowed. So we're going to use the space for other things, but that was the main thing. We're going to obviously have that ramp up as soon as we can. I've got permits in the works for a second location out by where I live. Again, that's on hold for now, but I would like to have a gym in my community, which is the community of St. Agath, which is about 35 kilometers from Winnipeg. Just a small key pass facility, but there is a demand for it in the rural communities, and we're halfway to Morris, and I know there's only one gym in Morris as well. So that's kind of something I want to work on. And then more products in my supplement line. Not more products, just more flavors, right? So more options. Right now, I only have two whey proteins, vanilla and peanut butter. I'd like to have more. And same with the pre-workouts, I'd like to have more flavors. But again, I just need the demand because I can't warehouse the product. Those are kind of what I want to do business-wise. Also, I got my bodybuilding shows that I promote. Tomorrow was supposed to be our spring show. So that was obviously canceled. We rescheduled for the fall. Hopefully we're allowed to do shows in the fall. I have a feeling in the back of my mind that it'll probably be like broadcast to people. Like maybe we'll be allowed to have the athletes there, but maybe not an audience. I'm not sure how that'll work. But those are kind of the three like business things that I do. Other than that, I'm working on a course for personal training. It's an applied personal training course. It was supposed to launch in the spring. Again, I couldn't do that because half the course is teaching it in class here. So whenever we can start doing that, I'd like to get that going. But yeah, business-wise, that's where I'm at. Personal-wise, I'd love to get back and do some competing. I was actually supposed to jump into powerlifting again in the fall because my wife and I wanted to try to do nationals next year because we can both qualify for nationals pretty easily. I don't know what powerlifting is going to be like next year, but bodybuilding is probably for sure because they've added a show in Toronto, and that's nice and close because I can't compete in Winnipeg because it's my own show. I don't want to be traveling too much, and when I diet, I like to do multiple shows. So if they're close, it makes it easier. So probably do Toronto, Calgary, and Kelowna or something next year, like do 2 or 3 shows. And that would be in the spring, I believe. So probably start dieting for that in the fall because I usually take about 26 weeks to diet for a show. I'm at 200 pounds today, so got to be about 163 pounds for stage. So
I'd line up with nationals then and diet right down for nationals.
Yeah, and that'd be perfect. I'd be terrible at 163, but in the high 170s, low 180s, I feel strong enough still. Not as strong as I am at like 200 pounds, but your leverages get thrown way off when you lose that much weight. So, but that's kind of where we're at. What else would I do? Nothing much else. I'm in school full time as well. I'm doing my 3rd degree, so I'm halfway through doing the dietetics program at the U of M.
Nice.
I haven't been able to find a dietitian I can work with, so I decided to just do it myself.
There you go.
Kind of where I'm at. I really wanted to find one that was evidence-based in terms of like not jumping on one specific ideology. It's hard to find because we all have our biases. I know I do. Everybody does. But when you're working with clients, you need to be able to work with their needs instead of just your beliefs. So that's kind of why I wanted to do it myself.
It's definitely a tougher profession because there's so much out there. I guess just like you could have personal trainers that have just one way of training versus another way versus another way.
I just have the advantage of being in the industry so long that I've seen, the cycles. I've seen things be popular multiple times. Like this is like the 3rd time keto's been popular since I've been training, right?
Yeah.
Like things come in waves, and I've always stood behind just knowing the basics, right?
Right.
Just go to the basics, teach people the fundamentals, and let them decide how they want to live instead of you teaching them only one way to live, because people can't stick to one thing, right? And I learned that the most from teaching people from other countries, right? Like who have very strict eating patterns. I can't just say, eat this chicken, broccoli, and rice menu, right? Like instead teach them what calories and protein are and get them to manipulate their diet to achieve their own goals, right? So
I think we've been pretty fortunate to have Howie.
That was one of our topics. That was one of our topics last podcast for diets and nutrition and stuff like that. There's so many different people, different religions and whatnot, and you can't be telling them just to have a certain meal all the time. It's going to be, there's so many variety you got to consider.
I always liken it back to teaching people economics. Like if you can teach people how to save, how to spend, how to budget, we can do the same thing with calories. And it doesn't matter what you eat. As long as you learn those basics, we can do the same things for anyone from any ethnic or religious background. So, teach people the basics, give them skills to be independent. I think one of the things we learn as trainers is to have the client be reliant on us. And it's always been my philosophy to make them independent and just make them want to come back to you because you're an expert, not because they need you. And I think that they'll appreciate you for that, and they'll stick around a lot longer if they know they can do things on their own for a while, and they can always come back and see you. So it's really hard it's really hard to have that mentality because it's scary that people won't need you, that people can be self-sufficient. But again, I've been doing this long enough to know that like a client, maybe I haven't seen them for 10 years, they'll have a tough time in their life and they'll come back and see me because they need help, but they've been able to survive on their own for the last 10 years without me, instead of having clients need me to be around, right, all the time, right? So
yeah, that's definitely a good method to it. Yeah. So speaking with some trends like keto and little diet trends like that, what other trends would say bother you the most? You're talking about the weight belts and everything.
yeah,
like
oh man, I get really tired of social media. Like it angers me, the things that people do buy into and the simple things they just won't buy into, right? Like you know, like energy balance, like why don't people buy into that, but they can buy into some $150 weight training belt with some fat loss cream that like in 3 minutes I can explain how, you know, magnesium can't be absorbed through your skin. Still believe that it's going to work and it's going to help them lose weight and it's going to tighten them up. It frustrates me that people don't have the skills to think critically. And a lot of times trainers themselves don't have the skills to teach them how to think critically. They're also afraid to offend people. And that's kind of one of the things that I'm okay doing, is like getting people to be offended, be emotional, and then start to think about the reasons they're making certain decisions, because until you can confront people's belief systems, they'll keep strengthening them, right? Like it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. And you can only do so much for a client in terms of like structuring their training and teaching them nutrition tips. If they're still going to buy into some scam, like there's really nothing you can do about it. So yeah, I'd say the keto cult is huge. On the other end, like people buy into things like carnivore and snake diet and things like just extreme. Like people believe the answer is on the edges, right? It's either this or it's this. And the reality is the answer is always in the middle, right? It's like, it's balance. It's, you know, there's no secret, there's no magic. The hard work is in the middle. So people just think that the easy options on the outside, you know, cut out all the carbs or cut out all the fats or whatever. So yeah,
that's a big point.
Yeah, supplement scams are big. Diet ideologies are huge. Right now you're seeing a lot of like equipment training scams, like those vibration machines kill me.
Well, there was one it was the pulley, like it was just a single like lat pull down pulley. It was like $199, and I know like I just built one at like my place for like $25.
Exactly. Yeah, and the thing is like people are buying all this stuff on like Alibaba, and they're selling it back to you for like $150 on these sponsored ads on Instagram, because people are desperate. They need things to do at home, right? Like they want to work out, but they're paying an arm and a leg. Like you just have to jump on Kijiji to see dumbbells for $4 a pound. Like they're just, it's crazy, right? Like it's crazy. So it's unfortunate because fitness and health and weight loss, like people get taken advantage of all the time because they're desperate. They're desperate to feel a certain way, to look a certain way, and they'll pay whatever it takes. And the answer isn't paying whatever it takes. The answer is just learning the basics, you know, hire a trainer for a couple months, go get a dietitian for a couple months, like, you know, invest in yourself, but it's going to be hard work. It's not going to be buying this machine or buying this pill or buying this food or doing this diet. Like that's never the answer. So
yeah, I think I like that point where there's just that balance of like what your belief system is with training, because like I know what I tell my clients with that is, if you train, say if you have a client for like 2 hour or 1 hour session twice a week, there's still, that's like 90, you're only getting like 1% of their whole entire week. So what is filling that 99%? Like what else are they doing, right? So, and that's going to be the most important, as opposed to like, I believe I'm a good trainer, but like there's no magic that we can kind of attain with 2 hours a week, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that I think personal training is still the answer. It's still the gold standard. Like I know a lot of people are moving to online training. I do some online training, but like the magic you get for an hour of somebody's time, the dialogue you can have, the things you can explain, you know, the private conversations you can have about the things that really matter. A lot of the problems our clients have are financial, they're emotional, psychological. it's about their job, it's about the things, you know, that are happening at home. So personal training is personal, right? And that's always been a great thing that I enjoy about the things we do, is being able to have a relationship with people and positively influence them, because we genuinely, I believe that most trainers genuinely care about their clients, right? Like, we're not just pumping out training sessions to make money. Like, a lot of us choose this job because we actually want to make people's lives better. And we do that by spending that hour or a couple hours a week with them. And I still think that even after, like, post-COVID, you know, society, personal training is, I think it's going to grow even larger. Like, people are going to realize they need that connection, right? I know online training is huge right now. But I don't think it's the future. I think personal training is still going to be the future, and especially one-on-one, because people want that connection that you can't get in like a 5% or 10% class, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I should clarify that like, you can't work magic in terms of movement in 1 hour, but like the effects that you can have on that person will last a whole week. But
yeah, again with movement and stuff like that, like, you can work with them every week, but I think that because you're with them one-on-one and you show them the passion that you have for, you know, for movement, for health, for posture, for injury prevention, whatever it is, they're going to see that and they're going to take that and they're going to do their homework. And I think that you won't get people doing their homework if they don't see the passion that you have for it and that you do it yourself, right? Like, I know, for like, if I see like one of my trainers teaching someone something and then an hour later I see them doing it themselves, like, the client's going to see that as well, and they're going to realize that it's important. But if you're trying to teach someone the importance of foam rolling after a workout and they never see you foam roll, right? Like, they're not going to buy into it, right? So yeah, it's definitely important to have that passion and to do it yourself, right? So
yeah, very true. Good point. All right, we got one before. We got some fire questions here.
Fire question.
Yeah. Fire round, speed round,
rapid fire.
Rapid fire. There it is.
Fire questions.
Stroke there. Yeah. Cardiac event. We kind of touched on this at the very beginning, but if you weren't in the fitness industry, what do you think you would be doing instead?
In a dream world, I'd be an actor. I think I've done a few things in TV, and
pretty solid.
I've been on TV a few times. People know that I'm good on camera. I don't think I am. I hate looking at myself on TV, but I think that's what I'd be doing, or I'd be a musician. I was in a band for 5-6 years when I was younger, toured a little bit. So one of those two things. So
jack of all trades.
I was gonna say, you do a lot.
So a superstar is what he said. A rock star.
I'm like, I like barbells. In a band.
Yeah.
And all this.
That's an awesome answer, Bob.
Yeah, there we go. Alrighty, all right. We'll get into the rapid fire here. Rapid fire, remembered it there. What's your favorite restaurant in Winnipeg?
Oh, it's got to be Red Lobster.
Red Lobster, some OG. I like it.
All you can eat shrimp.
All you can eat shrimp.
Yeah, lobster.
Yeah. Favorite piece of training equipment?
The barbell. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
The waist
Go wrong with a barbell.
The waist trainer.
Favorite physical activity outside of the gym?
Oh, martial arts. Yeah.
Good answer.
Favorite book?
Favorite book? Oh, anything about behavioral economics. Yeah.
Oh.
Interested in psychology, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Too many to actually list, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anything behavioral economics, that realm?
Yeah.
All right. Favorite movement?
Deadlift, 100%. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, a lot of people like their deadlifts.
Yeah.
My favorite top exercise.
Yeah.
Better than squats.
Yeah, better than squats. Tommy likes the squats though.
Yeah, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I like some squats too, but like I tell people, if there's one thing you could do for the rest of your life and it's the only thing you could do, it'd be deadlift. Like you don't need much equipment, low risk of injury, great for the back. I don't know, I just love deadlifts. So.
Yeah, big fan. Favorite home cooked meal?
Homemade pizza.
Homemade pizza, so good.
Good
Yeah.
one.
So much better. So much better. All right. Guilty pleasure meal?
Oreo filling.
Oreo
What's
filling.
Oreo filling?
This is really specific.
I've been cutting weight for sports for 25 years. I was probably cutting weight when I was 12 for judo. So
Wow.
after
Wow.
cutting weight, you go Safeway, you buy a whole bag of junk. I'd eat the Oreo fillings. Like that'd be like my post diet cut binge would be Oreo fillings probably. So
Just scrape it off into a bowl and
Throw away the cookie.
Gross.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not mad. I'm just surprised. Wow. Last of this, your favorite binge show.
Ooh, binge show. What did I watch recently? I love Dexter. I'll watch that one from start.
That's good. Yeah.
Good old Dexter. Yeah, definitely a good one. All right, and then what's your favorite coach for you to follow, or what favorite coach that you follow?
Oh, favorite coach that I follow. Oh, it's tough because I don't follow anyone with like more than 10,000 people because they drive me nuts. Oh shit, favorite coach. It's tough. I don't know. I like Team 3DMJ. Like that coaching team is definitely close to my philosophy in terms of like the natural bodybuilding, the powerlifting, evidence-based. There's a guy in the UK, Laurent Bannock. He's a super smart guy. He does a postgraduate diploma in sport and exercise nutrition. I took his program. It's 2 years long. He's a great coach as well, but he's also super smart PhD guy out there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know much of the popular, like trendy people because, again, if you go look at who I'm following, I don't follow anyone who's like a celebrity or anything like that. Again, they're just usually spewing garbage or recycling stuff. So, there's lots of great coaches locally as well that I like to follow because they got good stuff. We got good coaches here. I know you guys got good coaches. I don't know.
Yeah,
Solid.
a lot of good answers there. Last major question. What advice would you give someone who is unmotivated to train, exercise, especially right now during this time?
I'd say skip it, right? Like, I think one of the biggest flaws in what I'm seeing in the industry right now is pushing people to do things they don't want to do. One of the biggest things about mental health is like the exercise is important, but again, it's not life or death, if you take the pressure away from exercise, people are more willing to do it, I think. And if they can intrinsically want to do it, like if they're motivated to do it, they're going to do it. Nothing you can yell at them is going to get them to do it.
Right.
I know, like I said, for the first month of this quarantine, I didn't exercise, not structured like training, I wasn't in the gym lifting. I wasn't in my garage lifting. I was just active. And I think that the best thing you can do for people right now is to tell them to find something they enjoy doing. And it doesn't matter what it is. And they're not going to lose their gains in a month. So they don't need a barbell to train. They don't need to be doing, structured routines. I know that's the opposite of probably what every other coach is going to tell you. But find something you enjoy doing. If it's mountain biking, if it's going for a walk, if it's, just going to the park and throwing a ball around. But like at the end of the day, we just want to get people active. And the first thing you need to do is find something the person likes to do, enjoys to do, wants to do, and just start there. And when they start to feel good about being active, I think intrinsically they'll want to continue and they'll find other ways to challenge themselves. And that's where you come in as a coach, is being creative, giving them things that can challenge them, but they can still enjoy doing, right? So I think we often get stuck in this trap that like, they got to have a barbell, they got to have dumbbells, they got to have kettlebells, like there's got to be structure. You got to train 3 to 5 days a week. You got to do your movements. You got to do this. And I think right now as a responsible coach, it's kind of like, we'll get back to this training when we can, but right now let's just get active. Like, what do you want to do? You want to go to the hill? You want to run up some hills? You want to go, like, one of the things that I love doing, I go and I push my van, right? Like I'll just push the car down the road, right? Like just feel good, get the heart pumping. So take the pressure away from your clients, like, don't guilt them into like feeling like they're failing because they're not exercising, because that is just going to set them up for failure. Right.
Yeah, like what you said there, because a lot of people are already feeling the pressure and like of not being able to go to the gym. But then you add in the pressure of trying to go and buy your own equipment and find stuff when nothing's available right now. It just adds to the stress too, right? So just do what you can with what you have available, and then you're just going to overall feel better mentally as well. So you made a good point there, because like there's no equipment available, or if it is, it's way overpriced right now, right?
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Like I tell all my clients, like, we're going to be here. Like when things start up again, we're going to be here. You're going to get back in your routine. You're going to get back to your job. You know, structure is going to come back. Right now, just do things you enjoy. Just have the freedom to do things that you wouldn't normally do, right? Like, why not have fun with it? You know, like jump on a Skype yoga session, or like a Skype Zoom session. Like, just do something different, right? Because we'll all be back on our powerlifting programs or bodybuilding programs in a couple months anyways, right?
Yeah,
that's a good
definitely
answer.
Yeah, and especially like if coming back, transitioning back into the gym, that's going to be a lot more positive, instead of like, oh, I didn't work out. Then that first workout, there's going to be so much pressure on to have a good day when it's going to probably be garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
And I haven't done it for a while.
Like I coach a lot of people online, but again, the clients that aren't coaching online that I had as in-person clients, like I got a little group and I try to tell them, like, you know, it's going to be tough when you come back, but just think of it this way. Like, we're all going to make just amazing gains, right? Like, like we're going to have regressed so much that like in the first months, like you're going to see things go up. You're going to be motivated. And we just need to take that little bit of motivation we get from things going back up and just push it. And I think a lot of us will be able to set some bests and stuff like that. Just because we built up new momentum, right? Maybe we have a greater appreciation for being in the gym again, a greater appreciation for structure and all this kind of stuff. So it sucks right now, but this is just a small blip. Like, this is just a small period of time, right? So
true.
Just have fun with it. And that's definitely what I've done. I've just been having fun, being outside, doing things with my kids, like just being active. I have the advantage that I have the intuition to know how to eat, so I'm not gaining weight. You know, I have other outlets for stress, so I'm good that way. So I can be active and still just be healthy. So, but I'm itching, and I know you guys are itching to get back in and just train, you know, and just have that structure. A lot of us are structure based. Like, I know structure is very important for me for my mental health. So I'm very, very excited to get back into the gym.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Yeah, but it's good that you're able to still stay open and still able to do and stay in somewhat contact with the people that you've been helping and assisting through all of this. So that's good.
Yeah, like, people are your business, right? Like that's all that matters. Like, if this shuts down, we take the people somewhere else, right? Like, we do what we can with the people. The people are what matters. It's not a building, right? Like, it's not the equipment that's in here. Like, none of this stuff matters. What matters is the people. We can make do with anything else anywhere else. So and I've proved that because I've moved my clients around gyms for years, right? Like, I've migrated, you know, 80 to 100 people from Shapes to I went to Full Scene after that, and then I went to More Fit, and then I brought them all here, right? So like the place doesn't matter. You matter to the people as a coach, and the clients matter to you as a person as well. So
right.
Yeah. No, very, very well spoken there. So to wrap up here, how can people reach out to you? So where can they find you?
I'm not too active on social media right now, but on Instagram, I usually have a story going, so you can catch my rants there. Message me there. I always message back to people. If I haven't messaged you back, it's because you're in that spam folder or whatever. So I try to check that frequently. I jump on Twitter. That's where I kind of like yell into the void, right? So that's what Twitter is. I don't know the other ones. I'm not on the other social media platforms. I'm on Facebook a little bit. We got a website, onefamilyfitness.com. There's a live chat there. I have a lot of people that ask me questions on there. Google my business. There's a chat option there. And then what else we got? And then the supplement website is bodiesbyscience.net. And then if you want information about the bodybuilding, it's wmbfcanada.com, I believe.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, a lot of ways to find you and to hear some of your rants.
I've been keeping my mouth shut right now just because it's tough. Like people are going off the rails with all these conspiracy theories and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to go down some rabbit holes,
Tommy's adding fuel to the fire there.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much out there to get distracted with. So
But and I got a YouTube as well. So I got a couple hundred videos on YouTube. I haven't put many up lately, but I'd like to get back into that. If we're prepping, if we start a bodybuilding prep, my wife and I will be vlogging again. So we like to vlog our progress through there. So that's I think it's just Top Coach Dino on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of ways to find you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's sweet.
All right. Well, thanks for meeting up and chatting. It was a great chat. We learned a lot about you.
Yeah, got a lot of insight.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot of insight. It was awesome.
Really sweet.
Hope you sell a lot of supplements today.
Yeah, for sure. People just come to chat, right? So
Yeah. That's good too.
right on, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thank
cheers,
you.
guys. Have a great
See you
day.
down.
You too.
See you later.
Thanks.